Needs one more. Welcome back, everyone, to the Guns of Boom Challenger Season, Summer Season, Season 2. Jason Kaplan, Harry Naughty Boy Thomas, also known as Lethal, as we're underway with our third cup here of the season. First of all, just going to take a second here because it's been a long time. I've missed you.
Yeah, do you know what? I've missed you as well.
Give me a hug.
It has been.
Don't give me a hug on air. What are you doing?
Oh, okay, I see it. No, you don't have to have your hug anymore. It's fine. I'm just going to leave you to it now. You just do your thing.
I like the commitment. I like the commitment to come in for the hug. But you know what? It's been a long time. It actually has. It's been since what, Texas?
It has been, yeah.
Pro Series event Texas that we casted together?
Yeah, it's been quite a few months now. And, great to have you back as always. And, I had a few weeks into the summer season now, and it should be a good one.
It should be. It should very well should be. A couple of shakeups coming in with teams leaving their organizations or getting kicked or whatever you want to call it. But obviously staying together as a team most importantly. And we also have a big event coming up in, 2 weeks' time over in Cologne, right in my neck of woods. But before we get to that, let's talk about the standings two cups have really shaped up the summer season. We can see back-to-back, previously known as Noble, currently leading in first place at 200 points. They've won back-to-back cups. What a coincidence.
Yeah, nice pun there. But of course, you see there as well, Lazarus, slowly behind second place. They're still in that qualifying spot. But one of the big ones as well is Knights of Honor. We haven't seen him for quite a long time. And now they kind of made a bit of an impact, a bit of a statement now in that third place spot. It feels like the same as what it was 12 months ago. It's an interesting one.
Yeah, I mean, we saw them edging out top 8 a couple times. Last season, we had them break through into first, second place a couple of cups as well. It's nice to see that they're getting more consistent, right? They're starting to place at the higher levels consistently week in and week out, and they're going to need to when they come up to the event in Cologne as well, going up against the best teams in the world. I still want to say Impact's going to win that.
Yeah, it's
I still really want to say it.
It's weird because even with Impact, it was crazy. They were happy to win, but they wanted to win all the matches in a clean sweep, and they only dropped one, maybe 2 maps. I think it was 2 maps in the Brazil event. So even that is a massive statement as it is, but they want a clean sweep just in general, which shows their confidence and how they want to approach each event as we go forward.
Yeah, and you know what? That's a good way to do it. And we talked about this with Noble. For instance, they said, Nokia mentioned, hey, we're not really focusing on qualifying for the Pro Series event Texas for Brazil. We're not worried about it. But that's just wait, what? You just won the first Gods of Boom tournament. We want to see dominance. We want to see you be the #1 team week in and week out. And they didn't really favor it too much. However, maybe my constant nagging has broken through to them because seeing them now be back-to-back champs is a very good thing to see. And then speaking of that, let's take a look at the brackets and see if they've made it yet again. And look at that. They have back-to-back. Maybe they change their name potentially next week to back-to-back-to-back because they have a chance to win Cup 3 as well.
That is right. It's going to be an interesting 2 matches. Kind of what we expected in terms of results going into the semi-finals. The back-to-back versus Infinity would be a great one. Knights of Honor and Lazarus. We've seen that before. I think Lazarus did actually take that, but will they take it again? There could be another potential back-to-back versus Lazarus final here, but we'll see how things pan out.
Nice to see Forza, though, the only team who's currently not in top 4 in the standings, be able to make it through to the semifinals. And we needed to see some more consistency out of them. I think we need to see more consistency out of most of the EU teams because they've been a little bit lacking. I mean, yeah, we did see them perform well in the Brazil event, but, get back on top, boys. Let's see you #1. Get those Impact guys off their high horse, off of their Rolex watches they're now buying up for the money they get from these events. Venom, so we buying those. And, get some good challenges because Impact has still yet to really be challenged, in my opinion. But maybe they will coming up in just a few weeks' time. But we're going to be heading into our first series. It'll be a best of 3. We do have a construction site, Gobson Park, Station Subway, and Europe Square. So we're kicking things off on some TDM.
Yeah, map #1. Both teams, it's going to be interesting to see how things will pan out because very slow map to start off with. But as you can see there, Nokia does get that first strike, but not with Stacey getting a double straight away, but a double for Nokia as well to start things off.
Oh, hello, Killing Machine. Hello. Anyone want to turn around? Look at him. Finally, someone actually does. It eliminates him. That's going to be Hale. Stacey will fall as well. And yeah, the very slow kind of map. We've seen this, I think, mostly being added to the pool coming into this season. We didn't really see it in our initial spring and winters that we did. And I remember seeing this actually the first cup when we kicked it off a few weeks back. But 78-57, a slight lead for back-to-back. But we know how TDM can go. We know how big of a swing you'll see in TDM, especially if you have one team get a wipe in where they're going to be low HP.
Yeah, that can go either way. I don't know how on earth Killing Machine managed to stay alive so long there, but Nokia, as you saw, with elimination streak, he's trying to stay alive again. Gonzo managed to get another trade, but slowly but surely back-to-back are getting the lead they want. They've been quite aggressive. It's been more Infinity where they've been sitting back a little bit more, but Delhi's getting a little bit more aggressive now. Massive take out 1. It's going to try and take down 2, but that's traded in the end by Migs. Massive gets 1 for himself, and Killing Machine gets another 1, trying to take down Stacen here.
All about trading these kills. Stacen trying to hide around the corner, waiting for the reinforcements to come through, and the reinforcements are going to be there. Deadly's going to be by his side, and Stacen will get the elimination on the Killing Machine as Deadly's going to continue to push through. You can see Gonza trying to peek around the side, but constantly being fought back and just fighting between the poles here in middle. Going both teams' way. I don't know which way it's actually going heavy-handed. You can see Stacen, I guess, since it's on the HB, it's going to be going towards the blue side of back-to-back. Either way, Edge, previously known as Forza, are in the lead.
Yeah, the playing style's been very different. It's been very slow, and it got very aggressive, but now it's gone back to a slow pace again. Just trying to find an opening in some way. Stays with elimination streak, but Gonzo and Migs might have to take 1 down for themselves, and Nokia is going to try and get the flank here, but he's got to be careful with the opposite team on spawn, but in the end, it doesn't matter. Hale and Massive get 1 for themselves. Killing Machine gets the trade, but Massive with a big double there. Trying to go for the triple, and he does! Massive with a triple to help things out on the team of Infinity and grab that lead.
I feel like you just get too punished being aggressive here because their spawn is just literally right there. And if you do get an elimination, it's like, great, you got 1. But if you're not positioned to run away, you're going to quickly be turned around on it. It's going to equalize. So, man, I think back-to-back are actually getting punished. But the thing is, they have to be aggressive now because of how far they currently are behind. 41 points and growing as you still see Edge Infinity just edging out a lead.
That was a nice frag there by Gonza, and as you can see, both these teams are just trying to pick each other off and get some damage ticked down as much as possible through that midway and then try and push around. But you can see Infinity have been a lot more aggressive. Hale with that elimination streak, big stuff from him as well as the double. But Killing Machine, even though he gets to trade, it looks like it will be a little bit too late as Infinity just need 1 more frag to try and end this game, and Delhi's trying to make sure it's done, but it has, and Infinity take that first map of the series.
Loving this. I'm loving this little endgame screen there. That is fun. I don't know if it was here last week, but I am nice. Good update. Good little update in there.
Nice little touch on
it. It is, because then, especially with very close matches like we've seen in the past, like 1-2 points, it's nice to know actually gets the win instead of having to see when we get out of that screen. But very cool, very good job by Edge. I think they played the map down to a T. I feel like just sit and spawn, letting them be aggressive. Like, there's no need to push out. Hit the shots when they come in, then hide, and then get free limbs. Like, I don't know why back-to-back was being so aggressive constantly, but you can see there, the #1 players from both teams, that's a massive discrepancy in points.
Yeah, it was a bit of a weird one because both teams, they've had very similar styles for the first couple of minutes, literally trading back and forth. Back-to-back had a little bit of an advantage, but I saw what Nokia did. He was trying to get the flank going, but at the same time, he was trying to make sure not to get picked off on spawn. It's very, very difficult on that map. I'm sure through the second map, it's going to be very different since we will go do something more objective-orientated. But I think more towards the end, Infinity was sticking as a trio quite a lot and having 1 person to cause a distraction as much as they could. And it worked out really well for them. That's why they managed to get such a huge lead and managed to take that first map.
I mean, the distraction turned out to be a destruction, didn't it?
It pretty much.
It destroyed the plans out of back-to-back. And we also saw some good middle control, too. I feel like Edge were winning out most of the trades in mid. They were getting most of the damage in, and they were actually forcing back-to-back to give up that location. And then we saw them pushing some sides, and obviously the sides didn't work out from the end. But that's going to be a clear little lead here for Edge. They do go up 1-0, and we're heading over to Subway next, some King of the Hill action. I think this is actually going to be my first time casting this map, if I'm not mistaken.
If it's the same subway station we know, then probably not. But if it's a new one, then we'll have to double check and make sure. But if it's the original subway, then, with back-to-back, it's been one of their better hill maps. From what I've seen in the past, they've always been, in terms of win rate, they've always been pretty good in terms of actually trying to win that.
So Forza's always been better, I feel like, when it comes to TDM between these two teams. I think, X-Noble back-to-back, they've always been better on, like, the control-oriented maps. Was an objective to fight over. So I think this should go their way if we look at past results. Though I'm not going to call it just that. Anything can happen, Anything can happen on any given day. But that's a good start here for Edge. And for them to get out of being outside the top 4, this is their chance. Get some points here. And then also help close that distance between #1 and 2 in points. Between like back-to-back and Loud, just maybe some other teams can sneak in there.
Yeah, they definitely can. It's obviously not too late with back-to-back. Even though they've got 200 points, we see some weird things in the past over the course of the weeks where some of them won't even make the top 4. But right now, if back-to-back actually win this series and manage to win the final as well at 300 points, that just shows, I wouldn't say they've got a guaranteed spot, but it's very, very close. But looking at it now, with a lot of these TDMs, it's a bit weird because, it does favour some of the passive teams. I know Forza can be quite passive sometimes, but they're a little bit more aggressive on that map compared to before, which is not usually their kind of style. But they obviously changed things maybe in scrims or over the past week, trying to their gameplay of how they actually try and execute certain parts of the sites or try and execute certain ways to try and flank across, because that map in general isn't very easy to try and actually pull any of those kind of bits and pieces off due to the fact that they spawn right in front of you and you've got to get the job done quick.
And also, I feel, well, from the first week, it's 100% true, but I feel like there's a lot more emphasis lately on TDM in the map pools. Because we, for instance, like last season, there was the same 3 maps in the best of 3 every week, same 5 maps in the best of 5s every week. But now things are changing consistently. We're getting some like more TDMs thrown in there. I know GI are obviously paying attention and listening as well as ESL to the players to make sure to accommodate them as well. But it's a good way to introduce like maps that we haven't seen in prior seasons. So it forces you to keep learning, keep adapting your strategy. You can't just sit back on your laurels and be like, all right, we played this map last week, let's just do the same thing and win. No, you're going to have to really change things up and definitely practice like your weaker modes like TDM, which I think is 100% like going to be rough for a lot of the teams, even going into the Pro Series event at Gamescom.
Yeah.
I want to see Impact not be the team to win again. It would be nice to see a team.
It's your region, though.
Yeah, but I
don't support your boys, you know?
Yeah. Am I European or American? That's the question.
You're American.
Because I've been here for 7 years. I'm almost here for 7 years.
If you live in Europe longer than you did in the States, I'll class you as European.
I'm really old, remember?
What, 21?
I'm 31, actually.
I know.
Yeah. Thanks.
You had your birthday recently.
I did. So I'm expecting my present from you later on. Or maybe a present for back-to-back to pull back a victory here and take it to a third.
Already 3 down now for back-to-back. Not the best of starts they've ever won, but Killing Machine managed to take down 1 just to keep him at bay just a little bit until the rest of his teammates does spawn. But we're going to see how Infinity can hold it here. Looks like not a good job straight away as Gonza and Nokia managed to take out 1. Nokia is going to maybe get out 2 if he's lucky enough. Sadly, he doesn't, but it doesn't matter. Migs managed to get the trade. Killing Machine gets another one now, and he managed to get that point back on the board.
A lot of sniping is going to be super important when it comes to this map. Hitting those long shots, getting people low just for peeking and off angle. Hale's going to charge the point. He's going to spot down Migs and take him down. They can actually overwhelm the position. Nokia comes in and gets 1, but it looks like to go the red side way here for Edge. However, Gonza's trying to stall for time, trying to go up in the 1v1. He'll eventually be eliminated, and the triple coming in for Deadly. They have control of the point, but can they maintain it? It's going to be the new question as Migs is just going to burn away.
That was so close. Deadly almost got a fall at once there, and if he did, I would have changed things massively. And you saw a double for Massive as well before he got taken down, and it's been a slugfest here. It's been very hectic. Again, another double now from Hale, and this is different from Infinity. This is a much more an aggressive team, much more structured compared to what I've seen in the past, but Migs with a double, he's going to try and look for that triple. He won't get it in time as Massive gets a double of his own and then gets traded down again by Gonza. But it's been a massive mess so far, but Infinity are doing such a good job, at least 200 points in the lead now.
Stacey just needs to minimize damage, wait for those respawns to come back through. Hale's going to be fighting in the subway against Nokia. It's a knife battle inside the train, and Hale's going to come out the victor. As they actually have an extra angle to fight on towards the point. However, 2 players from back-to-back have this lodged the other side of the subway and trying to fight back. But look at this lead. They're finally going to turn the point, potentially. Oh yeah, they're going to turn it here, but they're almost down 300 points.
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do here now. They're going to do some major work if I'm not trying to get anything done, but 200 points so...
We're going to go like a massive play out of...
Yeah.
And like, oh, we're spectating massive.
Yeah, pretty much. Literally stays...
He's doing it though, look at his points.
It's true, yeah, no, don't get me wrong, you're absolutely right there, but he's going too big now for his boots, as it's 250 points now. Delhi takes out 1, number 2 gets traded, Massive gets 1 more of his own, almost gets a double, but Stason takes 1 down for himself. Nokia trying to stay alive, doesn't happen, and Stason with an elimination streak, and it's not long now until Infinity could take the series.
I'm loving this. They take the point, and then if you're like one of the last few alive, just hide on the point. Don't take any extra damage. Get the reinforcements to come back in. They're just about the closest one out here. Edge Infinity are going to pull off the 2-0 sweep against back-to-back. The team who has won back-to-back weeks, and they've been able to pull it off here in about 18 points left, which they 100% should be able to get just from kills alone. But that's been a pretty serious game, and I think we've definitely seen them show up.
Yeah, that's crazy stuff. A very different Infinity compared to what I've seen in the past. And now they've won that 2-0 in very quick, comfortable fashion here.
Yeah, very, very quick. And honestly, I could say that was not expected considering they didn't make top 4 week 1. They made 4th place in week 2. Maybe they're going to start to continue to progress further as the weeks go on. But as you mentioned, like back-to-back, if they could have pulled off another first-place finish, 300 points, they should be good. But thinking back to, was it the spring season, how close that came down to at the very, very end, having teams have a 75-point-plus lead between 2nd and 3rd, and then like the last weeks, just a little bit of a slip-up cost them their ride into the finals. But you can see here some points between the players. Stason had one hell of a match, 253 points with 11 eliminations, and only, more importantly, 5 deaths. Only 5 deaths.
It should be illegal for him to not play that map, really, because that's absolutely ridiculous. 19 frags contributed with those 5 deaths. He just made sure he'd stayed alive, and when he was quite weak, he'd sit back and snipe and pick off anyone off who was actually around the hill, which was a great strategy. You know, normally people do it in the carriages or maybe a little bit more unorthodox, but he just stayed on his stairs and just made sure he kept them back as much as he could, and he pretty much done his job. And he saw Massive going massive, like you mentioned before, going 12-9 with 5 assists. And in all fairness, with back-to-back, in terms of the standings, I feel like as long as they get at least top 4 consistently for the next few weeks, they should be quite safe. But, you know, you need to be safe and sorry. Maybe at least one final will help them out, because you've got to remember, even though it's 100 points for first place, it's 50 or 40 depending on how things turn out in that third-place playoff.
Yeah, I think for them to technically lose like a qualifying position, some other team outside of the top 4 is going to have to limit, or some other team is going to have to eliminate them. Well, technically outside the top 4, because if you're in top 4, there's a good chance you make it back to semis. So someone out of the top 4 has to beat them in like quarters.
Yeah.
Or fall even earlier than that, and they have to have like a really bad showing, which with the way they've been playing, I don't know if it's really going to happen. So
EU region, you know, okay,
it could happen. I'm not saying it won't. I'm just saying with the way they've been playing, they've been looking much better this season, the summer season, than spring and winter.
Yeah, combined, it was ridiculous. Because, you know, EU region is one of the strongest regions, even though over on the NA side of things, Impact Gaming are the strongest team in the world. The rest of the Caliber teams just can't keep up. But with the EU region, because it's so tight-knit at the moment to the Caliber skill, the gap isn't actually that far off. I'm surprised also not to see, you know, you're talking about if someone gets knocked out even before the top 4, maybe say like Duster Esports. I'm not sure if they're still around, but I don't know if they're still competing, but we'll have to find out. But you've got Elements Pro Game, you've got some of these other teams as well who could definitely kind of help things out for the back-to-back or Lazarus squad, or maybe do the opposite and help out the other 2 teams on the other side to maybe help them even qualify.
Even sidekicks, maybe if they can channel you know, the Inner Unbreakable like they had back in the winter season, maybe they can do some work. But let's take a look at the brackets now and see what that result has done here for overall games today. You can see they're going to move through into the final. Edge, Infinity, and back-to-back going to be, unfortunately, playing for a third-place finish. But they'll play against the loser of Knights of Honor and Lazarus. And, of course, the winner will move into the final, which will be a best-of-5. That'll be a final match of the day. But coming up next, Knights of Honor against Lazarus. That is going to be a good game. And we're going to have to head to break. But when we come back, we'll be kicking that match off. So don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everyone, to the summer split of the Guns of Boom Challenger Series Season 2. I'm still Jason Kaplan. He's still the naughty boy, also known as Lethal. I want to make that your new alias.
No, please don't. That's horrendous.
I wonder if we can get production the video that describes why I'm calling you naughty boy, and we can show that on air one day.
Maybe one day, but just not now.
So next week, you'll be seeing now. So we did have a back-to-back, unfortunately, drop out. Early on, because they've already won back-to-back weeks. Early on means they didn't make it through to first place. They didn't make it through to the finals. They dropped out in semis, and now they have to play for a third-place game where Edge Infinity edged out their victory. Yeah, not even edged out, 2-0. Clean sweep for them. They're flying high now into the finals, but it's time to see who their opponents are going to be.
Yeah, Knights of Honor and Lazarus will be next. And, Knights of Honor, it's nice to see a team which was, back in the heyday is now kind of returned and kind of like a standing point here. They've done such a great job recently. I've been quite surprised to actually see them back because, like you said before, they've been hovering around the top 8, top 6 kind of mark. I haven't really seen much of them over the past months, but all of a sudden they just come out of nowhere. And
this has been, okay. Katowice.
Yep.
In February. Dropped.
Yep.
Getting knocked out. Was it 4-0?
Yep.
And they've been doing this. So up here in Katowice, then drop, and they've been doing this.
Pretty much, but Knights of Honor have done the same thing. They've just done that.
Well, did Knights ever have a that, or did Knights start here and then...
They started 12 months ago, the Invitational, but they placed third, so it wasn't like they've not had any offline experience or anything like that. But we haven't really seen much of them ever since, have we? And now, all of a sudden, they've come out of nowhere. They'll be in Cologne in a couple of weeks for that Gods of Boom spot. Yep. And it's just crazy how a team out of nowhere have gone from, we haven't seen the light of day, to now at a Gods of Boom event. And the same for Lazarus as well. But they've done it a little bit more slowly, but surely. Yeah,
and considering what happened to them, I feel kind of bad because at the Gods of Boom event, losing 4-0 at an event like that in Katowice on a stage like that, it's really unfortunate, but I do like to see that they continue grinding it out, continue to really push forward and continue this grind to be one of the #1 teams in Europe. And we're seeing a much different style here already off the back on this first map here of construction site. Teams playing a lot more passive.
Yeah, this is quite standard. We'll wait for a stalemate situation until something happens, but Notorious straight away with that first strike with Romeo taking Dejani there. And I remember last week, Dobar and Notorious were absolutely going off. We'll have to see if that happens again coming into this.
I really hope there are no dogs here on this map because we have John Wick and we know what happens if the crossfire goes that way. But Excellence, he's got a lot of experience as well when it's come to land. He even subbed in back at the Pro Series event in Texas. But it looks like the blue side here, Knights of Honor, have come to play. Going for the long-range battles, and they have an 85 to 36 point lead. Though with how this pace has been going, I think there's a realistic chance this is going to come down to time.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me too much. We won't expect too many flanks unless it's absolutely necessary and there's at least 2 down. But even then, they're not really happening too much. So we've got Dejani there taking down 1. Excellence must have traded him off. There's just been trades back and forth. There's been no clear opposition to exactly who can actually stand out. But Knights of Honor managed to increase their lead a little bit more slowly. A double from Notorious, as you saw there, but gets taken down straight off spawn by Mano.
Well, now the pace is being picked up a little bit. 157 to 111. Knights of Honor still lead. Lord Mono on low HP, but again, TDM, very important to do as much damage as you possibly can with every single life. This is not King of the Hill. This is not Control. You cannot just throw away your life and just rush back in for another chance, especially with how these points can go and how quickly they can go against you. Excellence. Trying to push up the side. He's low HP. Hits the shot onto T-Mac, though, and a quick 3 eliminations for the red side of Lazarus has closed this distance.
Lazarus playing a little teen snipers game here just to try and pick off as many opponents as they can whilst trying to keep their HP as high as possible. But as I said, Notorious gets a nice clean shot, nice perfect aim from him. Gets John Wick just on 1. He's trying to go for the other one, and he does. And that's 4 down for Lazarus. Romeo have just come off spawn. And they've got to be careful now because Knights of Honor are going to change their positions a little bit. But so far, their sniping from Knights of Honor has been absolutely on par.
It's so important if you're sniping as well to peek with a teammate so they have no chance. Because if you go 1v1, both players can get 2 shots off potentially. But if you're 2v1, the enemy's only going to get 1 shot. So you really minimize the damage you can take if you have a third person there. Maybe you can even get that free elimination without taking any damage. And with how we've seen, in typical, TDM style, like Military Warehouse, for instance, it's so aggressive, so fast-paced that when you get that first elimination, there's a good chance you're going to fall thereafter. But this way, the sniping battles has been really able to help build up a decent lead here for Knights.
Yeah, it's been very back and forth in terms of the score. Knights of Valor keep having a huge lead and it keeps getting tied up. We saw Excellence with a triple earlier, but sadly going being capitalised as Knights of Valor got a few doubles off their own. And so far, even though it may go to time, it is going back and forth here. Excellence and Romeo managed to get one for themselves to trade off. But Lazarus really needs to think of what to do here, because they can sit back and snipe, but eventually when it gets to that 1 minute mark, they have to start doing some pushes.
Yep.
Even then, Knights of Honor can just sit back on spawn and just abuse the respawn immunity.
As long as you just trade indefinitely with the other team, with the lead you already do have, like there's just no way they're going to be able to come back. Finally, some shotguns coming to play, and Notorious going to be charging through, takes down Lord Mono. Romeo on the respawn, able to help assist John Wick, though. I don't think John Wick needs much assisting if you saw the latest movie. The Romeo gets himself a double, and that distance between the two teams, it was closing. But again, the respawns coming back through is just netting the chance for Knights to continue this pace, continue this momentum, and potentially get that first map done.
Yeah, you saw one of the members of Lazarus did try to take someone down, but sadly another opponent managed to respawn behind him and managed to get a 2v1 scenario. Romeo is just trying to scout for info to see if he can get anything done, but he won't be scouting anymore. As John managed to take the Johnny there, Notorious gets to trade off on him, and it's just a matter of time here. But look at this, so Lazarus are making a comeback because 50 seconds left, but the time is not on their side. They're the ones who have to make the first move. And the Johnny, mate, if he takes out Mano here, it's going to make things even worse for the guys.
Well, Romeo is already low HP too, so that should be a free kill if they can eventually get it here. You can see the explosives coming in, and Knights have been able to finish that off. And I feel like that's, if we compare like all the TDM maps, Construction Site is definitely one of the roughest ones because there's no real flanking pass, right? If you think of all the other TDMs, there's always like so many different avenues you can go. This one, it's basically like two lanes, right, with a little bit of a skirmish in the middle. You can't sneak behind a team because they're always going to have someone watching every one of those lanes.
Yeah, and you can respawn looking at the guy if they push in too far. It's just a matter of control in your setups. When you actually try and get the damage per tick each time, you've got to be careful when you actually get the damage done. If you have a full setup, just try and abuse certain scenarios. Try and get that first shot. Try not to push in too far, because when you do try and push in too far, then it gets to a point where it's very hard to actually like try and pull back from the settlement you was in, and it kind of reminds you a little bit of your streets in some ways.
Yeah, definitely in some ways, and you can see what a couple of players really stepping up for Lazarus. But I think all in all, everyone was really doing work. Everyone put up some good numbers. Everyone was playing at a good level, but unfortunately, just not good enough because Knights just notorious 165 points, 11 eliminations, 8 deaths. But that does mean we're going over onto Subway as our second. Again, even though the last series, I did talk about how I feel like back-to-back are better on like the control point-oriented maps, the objective-oriented maps, not just raw fragging power. It didn't really come to fruition when it came to Subway. However, things can always change, and I'm curious to see who's going to win this one when it comes to it for these two teams, because I honestly don't know. I don't know who I'd favor to be the stronger team when it comes to like King of the Hill. No,
you was right, because that last game, the last series we saw on Subway, we expected Forza to kind of fall off I would say just fall off a little bit just due to the fact that, you know, they're not as aggressive as back-to-back, but somehow they made it into their advantage and abused their playstyle. We're not too sure how it's going to work. It could be a similar scenario, but I doubt it just due to the fact that I know Knights of Honor are good, but Lazarus are also a very strong squad, as was back-to-back, but I just felt like back-to-back, it just wasn't their day. You can tell there's some slip-ups here and there. They kept it very hectic most of the time going into that last map in the last series. But Lazarus have to really be careful here. We know they are the comeback kings in terms of actually trying to reverse sweep some of the matches. But right now, Knights of Honor are looking very, very strong.
I will say, though, about the back-to-back versus Edge Infinity game, I love the way, and I know I said it a couple of times during the game, the way they were playing it. Like, once they take the point, the thing is, with King of the Hill, like Wild West Saloon, right, we always talk about how you get to the point, it's just a constant skirmish back and forth, and you're always constantly being fragged away at. But this is a much different map compared to that, because you have terrain in the middle, even different than Paradise Island, where it's just that little, little statue, whatever you want to call it, that little totem in the middle of the actual point. You can't really hide behind that. There's too many angles. But here, there's so many angles you can, or there's such a big thing in the middle that you can hide behind that, and it's really hard to get any damage. So when you're the last person alive, you can just stay there and try to stall, and you're guaranteed to get some damage in when they finally come back, and you've been able to buy time for respawns.
That's right, and as you can see already, Knights of Honor already 2 down, but Lazarus get 2 back. But the only difference is the top point has been contested, and still both teams are still trying to get hold of it in one way or another. Double elimination for Romeo to kind of end things for him. But as you can see now, Dejani's managed to get a nice G-launch off. He's trying to do what he can to cover, but he managed to get 2 down here. Will get the point, hopefully, if it doesn't get contested again, which it does. And now it looks like Knights of Honor with a nice lead to start off with.
Now look at this, they don't even need to peek. Dober technically can just sit back behind the point if he wants to. He's just trying to peek for a couple of cheeky shots, but it's going to cost him his life, as well as the other 2 players going to fall. And that should be Lazarus not taking the point. I'm not sure why you're giving angles like that. I know you want to get some damage in early on, but you can't hope that T-Mac can stall long enough for the reinforcements to come through. However, the G-Launcher comes in out of Dobar, does some good work. Dobar picks up a second as well. They're going to turn the point back around as quickly as they lost it.
I think that's the problem with Guns of Boom is with the strafe, because it's quite slow, it's very hard just to peek and then come back out so quickly so you can avoid the snipe shot. But at the end of the day, it's not really too much now as Knights of Honor are continuing to increase their lead. Romeo gets one, Excellence gets another. I think one player did get a double elimination. I think that was Dejani there, but Excellence with a double of his own. So now Dobar is just going to try and get as much damage as he can, sit back on the ramp until the rest of his teammates will push with him, which will be now. And this is going to be the turning point to see what they can do. Notorious does get one. Dobar is trying to look for another if they can, but you've got two members in that subway. Both get taken down. Notorious almost with a triple there, but gets a double anyway. And he is still trying to get that triple, but doesn't in the end. Excellence with a double of his own, and then finally gets taken down by T-Mac.
He had great support too, because he actually had a teammate ahead of him when they were trying to take the point back. He throws a flashbang in as his teammate rounds the corner, and they catch the player off completely off guard and get a lot of damage in, and obviously elimination. Trying to push back in. You can see John Wick very low on HP. He's going to push around the side of the shotgun, trying to do some work, trying to do something with it. But he should be finished off, but not before he does get another elimination. Dejani's going to be back in time, though, trying to turn the point around. He's got to be very careful because now he's overextended, but T-Mac's there to support, and they will have the point back in their hands, and they're edging closer here to pulling off the 2-0.
You'll see a lot of this as well. Normally your opponents, even if they get the hill, they'll push their ramp anyway, just to try and get as much damage done as possible because they're so weak, and then try and go back on the respawn ASAP, which is completely understandable. It's a good strategy. We've seen that quite a lot recently in the past few weeks. Nice Blade Master, as you saw from Dejani. Lord Manu does get betrayed here, but now he's trying to do as much as he can just to keep him at bay, to try and not only get this point, but try and at least hold it. But Notorious isn't going to be staying alive for long here, as finally gets taken down by John Wick. Romeo gets to snipe off, but Knights of Honor, even though they've got the lead and get that double, Lazarus are slowly coming up behind him, but there isn't too much time left.
T-Mac's trying to win out on this exchange. Lord Mono is going to be about half HP as the reinforcements out. Knights going to be coming and stampeding in on towards the point. Dobar is going to be there. You can see it's just a constant battle. The point's still not in one team's favor just yet, as that's John Wick up into Dejani. Now Romeo is going to be able to come back in to stop the cap. Again, reinforcements just trying to come in for both these sides, trying to just duke it out. It's pretty much turned into a TDM because the point just means nothing. It's just the battlegrounds, as finally Lord Mono is going to secure it for Lazarus.
And he's doing his best here. Even if they get another 2 frags down, this is Lazarus' opportunity to try and, really try and keep him back as much as they can. And they're doing a good job now. They're trying to keep him back. But the problem is Dejani's got a double and a perfect aim from Romeo, but it might be a little bit too late here. 20 points between both teams. T-Mac got a nice snipe. Another one on Romeo. Perfect shot from him. And it's only 11 points left for Knights of Honor to try and grab this back. And they managed to take their and the series 2-0. Another, I would say, upset now, because now we're going to see back-to-back and Lazarus for the 3rd place playoff.
Yeah, which is a rematch from the first week, actually, between the two teams. But that was some pretty decent stuff, considering they didn't even have the point at the end. They won off raw fragging power. That became a little bit too close at some point for them, where they definitely lost that control. But good job by them. Again, you can see 286 points for Dejani. That's one hell of a start. I mean, yeah, 10 deaths, but you're going to expect high deaths when it comes to King of the Hill as well as Control.
Yeah, that is crazy. 20 frags contributed with those 10 deaths. Great stuff from him. And you always get at least one member with a lot lower deaths in comparison to the others. Normally you get roughly the same because they're all pushed together the same. But some of them, like for example, T-Mac will sit back with Snipe, get the damage done and try and help his teammates to push in with anything they can, either the Avalanche, the Odin or the Incinerator. But as you saw from there, then Notorious, even though he went 9 for 9, 12 assists, he must have done so much damage to so many of the opponents. It's just been a massive thorn in their shoe here.
So if I'm not mistaken, according to this little screen I have here in the middle of us, Knights of Honor has just passed Lazarus, actually. The minimum they can get is the same as the maximum Lazarus can get now, in terms of like when the cup's done. But because they just beat them.
I think it's more now, if I try and remember it from the top of my head, if Knights actually do win this, then they should overtake either, or be on the same points, or overtake by 10 points, depending on if Lazarus actually win their 3rd place playoff.
No, even if... Okay, maybe, can you pull that screen up again for us real quick, just so I can relook at it, just to see where the points are?
My math could be wrong, but... Yeah.
I thought I saw 175 out of both teams.
You might have been right. That's what I mean. It could be a tie.
Yeah, okay, so if Lazarus win and Knights lose, they're still going to be tied on points, but Knights should overtake them after beating them in this cup.
Yeah.
But if Lazarus lose, then they're going to be down by max or minimum of 10 points. So Knights of Honor, we talk about constant battle between second place. Well, they just got their second place finish now. And now they're second place overall in the standings. Maybe they're going to be able to continue that pace up the rest of the season and have a chance to, qualify for the Gamescom. Maybe they can visit Germany twice.
Maybe.
In a month.
Maybe. Well, can't complain, really. Cologne is a nice place.
You might get tired of the schnitzel, though.
Why is that?
Bratwurst. Or currywurst.
You not like it?
No, I love schnitzel, actually.
Oh. I was just going to say, and I thought you hated it the way you spoke about it.
No, schnitzels. You know what? If you're there in Cologne, I'll take you to the best place. And maybe we can invite the teams as well that will be participating. Let's take a look at the brackets one more time, I believe, and then we'll be able to head to a break to get ready for our third place match. It's going to be back-to-back and Lazarus in our third place game, something I did not expect to see in third place. I expect, if anything, that was a first place match. But then we'll have Edge Infinity up against Knights of Honor in our grand finals. Give me a prediction. Third place, who's winning?
Don't put it on me.
No words, just prediction. Don't even elaborate.
Okay, I reckon...
No, just the team.
Okay, back-to-back to win the third place playoff.
There we go. Let's see if he's correct after a short break. We'll bring you our third place game. And we are back with back-to-back up against Lazarus in our third place game. I came up with that off the top of my head. I swear I did not plan that at all.
You're so clever.
Jason Kaplan, lethal. Harry Thomas, great hair, fantastic laugh, amazing smile. Definitely is not over the age of 37.
He's just annoyed because he's like 2 weeks older than me.
It's true.
That's all it is.
I am your elder, so listen to what I say, but don't do what I do.
I'll make sure I will definitely won't do what you do. Okay. I know I've got respect.
We have a lot in common, actually. 2 weeks apart. We're both outstandingly handsome. great voices, clearly dress perfectly, and our SOs are from the same country. So
Yeah. You can't ask for more, really, could you? Speak the same language.
if we live closer together, I could ask for that. That'd be cool. You know, to hang out together. You know, go for the go in the town, have some fun, and we could cast more Guns of Boom together because it's going to be a third-place match. It's going to be a best-of-5 between these two teams. And, of course, points are a major factor when it comes to this because it's all about qualifying for Gamescom. It's all about getting that free trip and a chance to win that lovely, lovely money from the event. But, of course, going to Gamescom is also a big upside. I'm hoping they get more than a daily pass so they can go walk around the event, the venue, and see everything as well, all the other games that's coming out. More importantly, get to maybe talk to GI about some future stuff with Guns of Boom. But we're going to have a different set of maps now. Military Warehouse, Paradise Island, Old Factory, Europe Square, Wild West Saloon. You think it's going to be what team winning?
I thought it was going to be back-to-back, but now you told me the map choices.
I agree.
Okay.
I was tempted to actually put my hand up.
Do you know what? I was going to actually decline you then after what you did at the start of the show.
You can't do that. You can't decline a high five. Anyone puts up their hand for a high five, you got to slap it.
Or I'll just make it awkward and just fist bump you.
That would be awkward. But did you know, and this is a little tidbit while we do get the teams ready up and good to go, if you stare at the other person's elbow, if you're both staring at each other's elbow,
yes, I've heard
can't
this.
miss unless you're intentionally trying to miss. Unless you're like a, you know, right? If you stare at their elbow, both of you, you cannot miss a high five.
Someone told me this about 12 months ago. Was it
me?
you? It might have been you. It might have been you, actually. I can't actually remember.
It probably was me, to be honest. That definitely sounds like something I would say.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think now for the top of my head, but it might have been you. Might have been. I'll give you credit for it. I'll be a nice person.
I'll take it. We are waiting on Nokia to ready up, and we should get underway with the series. Again, we still have Edge, Infinity Planet against Knights of Honor in the Grand Finals, but that's it for today after that. We're actually not covering NA today. We have Southeast Asia, if I'm not mistaken, being done by Stannis, or was done by Stannis earlier on. If you missed the VODs, technically, they would have played before, so yeah. So if you missed if you missed it, check out the VODs and see how that went down, because obviously teams from all around the world will be participating and coming to Cologne. I literally live 5 minutes from Gamescom, so that is going to be a great, I get to wake up 20 minutes before call time, just walk into work. You have to wake up an hour and 30 minutes beforehand to get your hair all right and perfect.
Can I come around yours the week before?
You know what? You can. You know what? Come out, bring the missus. We'll hang out.
Yeah.
We'll have a good time.
What if I don't want to?
Bring your missus and only you want to come?
Yeah.
And we can go out and have a good time.
That sounds like a dream to me, mate.
I'm not hearing a downside to this because we get to hang out.
Yeah, exactly. You know, who else would I want to hang out with rather than yourself?
We'll get Stannis out.
Yeah, Stannis.
Maybe some Falcone action.
Yeah.
Maybe Blue can come out. I don't know what's happening. Anything that maybe we can bring out. Was it Format? Yeah, who's in Brazil?
Yeah,
it's a party.
Format,
My
great
place. Guy. I have a lava lamp. I can get a strobe light. And more importantly, I can get us into our game now as it has loaded up. Teams are ready to go. And we're going to be on Military Warehouse. I do apologize for the quick delay there, but we did have to wait, obviously, for the teams to ready up. And let's see how this first map goes.
So like you said before, map number 1, Military Warehouse. It's not going to be as stalemate as we saw before. Compared to we saw the previous map.
It's interesting, right? It's we have 3 different game modes, but within those 3 game modes, we have different modes technically because of the way the maps play. This is much different than what we saw on construction site.
Yeah, we see a lot of different play styles in different maps, depending on, of course, the objective ones doesn't matter who or control point. It's always going to be more aggressive than TDM, but even now, they've already started sitting back a little bit, just trying to get some snipes off due to the poor start they had, getting that damage done from back-to-back. But Lazarus now, man, let's get 1, maybe another here from John, so that's 2 down already. Must be 3, and now this is their chance to get map control and try and get the first shot as the next wave comes in.
Yeah, Nokia will be leading the wave as Gonza gets the elimination onto Romy as they're going to charge straight to the room. Gonza gets another back-to-back, getting back-to-back kills. That's 4 in a row for them. Unanswered, and more importantly, look at their HP. Fairly healthy, so they take the lead, and they are fighting on equal grounds. However, it's gone the way of Lazarus.
And then you saw there, nice double from John Wick, but got traded off in the end, back-to-back, and Lazarus still almost level pegging in terms of the fragging department. Gonza with a nice snipe there. He's going to try and push him through the middle to see if he can get a flank cross. And that G-launch was so important. He knew 2 members were there. Got a nice double. Trying to go for the triple, but it won't be the case. But at least it gets enough damage done to keep him at bay and help back-to-back increase their lead much more.
Yeah, 50 points. It might not look like much, and it wouldn't be much on King of the Hill or Control, but on TDM, it is quite a bit. So if that lead continues to grow, but Lazarus able to get 2. Able to get the 1-man exchange in favor. Excellence somehow able to get around Nokia and get the shot from behind, but he's still low on HP. So again, the gap you're not seeing, while it has been minimalized, there are a couple of targets who are low on health. So back-to-back should be taking the lead back in the favor.
Yeah, back-to-back need to be a little bit careful. I can understand them playing passive due to them being quite weak and trying to get some snipes off. Great free down from them. John Wick managed to get a trade, but the problem is when you actually sit back on this map, you've got to be so aware because there's 3 different angles, 3 different ways to even push in. And you saw from there, Manu got from behind, got some damage done, but not as much as he wanted, but at least he got something. And as we can see here, Nokia managed to get some damage done, but it doesn't matter. Manu and Excellence managed to trade off. Nokia gets one for himself on Manu, and John Wick gets a third, hopefully a fourth if Gonzo gets down, which he does, and that's 4 down for back-to-back. And now they've got to be careful here as Lazarus now have map control.
You mentioned the 3 lanes as well, like the 3 different ways they can come from, but it's also nice because you have these buildings you can kind of hide in, so you have even like more technically than those 3 lanes. You can just kind of pull off a surprise. But look at the score difference, just slightly in the lead by 9 points here for Lazarus. Gonza low on HP, so that lead should be going even bigger here for their side. However, Gonza's able to fight back to John Wick. Still 1 point lead now for back-to-back. And they should be able to increase it further. However, Romeo has something to say about it. He takes down Migs. Nokia fighting against Excellence. Killing Machine takes down Romeo. The lead still in the favor of Lazarus, so we're going into the final 100 points for both these 2 teams.
They need to be really careful here. 2 members of back-to-back are so weak, so they need to make sure they're baiting switch correctly and make sure they don't stand in front of the cover fire. But as you can see there, Romeo does manage to just take someone down. Manu is quite weak, still very close now, but Lazarus with a 22-point lead. And they might even sit back and snipe. You can see Migs there sitting bottom middle, waiting for them to push round. Hopefully, well, hoping that Lazarus don't expect it, which they do. John Wick saw him straight away there. Slowly increase the lead further and further, but we've got to be really careful. Gonza, as you saw there, managed to clean his face off, get a double as well, just to add insult to injury. Excellence managed to get the trade. Gonza with a triple elimination with only 1 frag necessary, and back-to-back managed to take map number 1 of the series.
And they did it when they actually fell behind by quite a bit of points. So yes, they had the lead for the majority of the time, but when it came down to the final moments, Gonza coming up big. 13 eliminations for him. I think he was way far beyond everyone else on the team, if I wasn't mistaken. I think 8 was the next closest to him, as I saw on the split second we had on the feed. Maybe when we get to see, yeah, right here, we get to tell where everyone was. 8 for Migs. Let's keep an eye on that number as well, because Gonza, I mean, he could have had only like 3 eliminations, because the 3 he got were the most crucial ones to get them that victory.
Yeah, because back-to-back were quite weak, but I love how, you know, as you should do anyway, prioritise the person with the more health in front, just so at least that way you can try and sort yourself out from there. A little bit of a weak play from Killing Machine. Very interesting, only 1 frag, but he got quite a few assists there anyway. And you saw 18 frags contributed by Nokia, with the 8 deaths to complement that as well. And you're waiting for that 1 player, Gonza, to see if we do actually get to see the score between him. And then you were absolutely right. 13 and 8, 231 score. Especially on a map like that, very difficult, but he did such a good job.
Yeah, that's, keep in mind, 231, that's almost half of what you need to win. Just gonna
I saw that, yeah, it was kind of annoying me a little bit.
Almost half of what you need to take TDM. Like, that is how well he played, and it's very difficult to put up numbers like that, but some great support from his team, some great aim out of him, more importantly, and great awareness. Got on the victory, albeit by only a few points, but they do take the first map in the series. We go over to Paradise Island, some King of the Hill next. And I was going to say, if back-to-back lost Military Warehouse and they didn't win Paradise Island, I would have said that'd be a 3-0 for Lazarus. But now that they've been able to take a TDM, I feel like they have that 1 map buffer now, because I still feel like they're really weak on TDM, or they're weak compared to other teams. But they shine when it comes to these objective-based maps.
Yeah, it's a weird one, because normally with TDMs, I always feel the weaker team normally comes out the better team, because I feel like the objective, like with the objective maps and objective game types, I just feel like normally the better team always comes out stronger, because it's so much more involved strategically and all the little things and the different scenarios you have to do in order to try and actually win each of those game types. But Paradise Island is going to be an interesting one, just due to the fact that it depends. Whoever gets that side B, and whoever does is going to have a little bit of an advantage, and whoever is going to be on the opposite end of that may be a little bit demoralised.
I wonder how it's going to come to. I feel like when it comes to this map particular, if you compare it to Wild West Saloon, this is the map that has the most diversity in terms of like flanking angles. And we've seen like really aggressive plays where teams will like actually push up past the control point next to one of the buildings that you exit from and just hide in a corner and then get a lot of free damage against you. So there's a lot more like ninja plays, I feel like, if that's the word I'm looking for.
Unorthodox.
Yeah, and thinking Wild West Saloon, it's more like brute force who can take the point and then who can sit behind the like the chariot and get a lot of free damage in as people come into the point. I think we are just waiting for the teams ready up, just waiting for a couple of last players. But do you want to change your prediction, or are you still feeling back-to-back?
It depends which side they've got on Paradise Island. If back-to-back have it, then I'm going to stick to my...
Well, they'd be up 2-0, so I'd hope you stick to it.
Yeah, well, I don't go back on my word. It's fine.
So if Lazarus win here, you're not going back on it?
No.
Okay.
I think I'm all right.
You know, a man sticking to his guns and sticking to the boom, as we're going to see a lot of action breaking off the bat. You can see Lazarus sending 2 players towards the left-hand side. Romeo, we pushed him middle with excellence. However, he pushed, I guess, a little bit late, a little bit stagnated from his teammate, which allowed Migs a quick double.
Yeah, great start, and they got the point on top of that. Mano is quite weak, so he's going to try a different angle, but he may get caught off guard by Gonza here. But Mano's AR was so much better, so much stronger in comparison to what he saw there. Excellent with the double, great way to try and take things back. But Killing Machine, with that snipe in that cheeky spot on spawn, it's going to be a tough one for them to not only hold, but just in general to try and get around.
John Wick, he's going to fall. So elimination by Killing Machine. Gonza and Killing Machine together on point, trying to dislodge everyone. You can see Romeo actually pushed up here, sniping from the other team's side of the map. He will eventually rush things down, force out the G-launch on Enokia, so that'll be 1 down and out here for the side of back-to-back, but they still are not down by too many points, but Lazarus have really been able to gain some control now.
And you saw a double from Excellence, almost a triple, but Romeo managed to snatch that off him, sadly. Still getting the point, but Nokia somehow, even though he's the last one alive, managed to contest things a little bit further, but as you saw there now, Mix has come up strong, Gonza managed to get 1, and now they're getting some good flanks here. Gonza may get a double here, which he does. Maybe even a triple. No, sadly he doesn't. Does get a double, but John Wick...
I feel like it helps them, actually. I feel like it kind of helps that he didn't get... I mean, yeah, they don't get the points, but now that he's low, it's like, all right, he has to either rush us and die, which he just now did, to get the respawn, which means he's going to be stagnated from the rest of his team for a 3-man defense. I think it actually kind of helps them, but yeah, I mean, obviously the points would have been fantastic, but look at the lead they now have, about 50 points, getting close to down to about 40, but they've been able to really turn the tides of how this match was going, because I feel like Lazarus were starting to run away.
Yeah, I was assuming that as well, but it seems to be not the case, as we saw Gonza there with a nice double of his own. Romeo some snipes in as well, some nice damage from him, but
Romeo,
this, they're still able to get the point. Nokia finally takes him down, and it's a 100-point lead for back-to-back still so far.
But Romeo got like 3 shots off, got so much consistent damage in there. It'd be a shame if the rest of Lazarus weren't able to capitalize off of that. I think they've been able to now. Respawn's coming back through, Nokia backing off. Romeo going to be charging back into the room where he's been holding before, but he's up against 2, and yeah, he somehow takes that mix. He gets a double? What? Someone kill this man!
I know, he's been very aggressive, but he's getting away with murder here. It's amazing how he's actually trying to, push in so deep, but sometimes it's not a bad thing. If you're quite weak, then you might as well try and push in and get as much done as you can before you get taken down and get back on that death cycle. And as you saw there, Manu managed to take the hill guy out. Perfect timing from him, but back-to-back are doing an absolute best to try and get it back. Sadly, not the case. They're just doing such a great job contesting it here.
Like Romeo's angle that he's just been trying to take over and over again, it just provides so much extra cover on towards that point and so much free damage. And when the rest of the team is there to defend as well, he gets the chance to respawn back through. Nokia, no elimination. That's unfortunate. He had the drop on 2. He did some decent damage. Hope the rest of the team can capitalize off the back of that, though, as they do take the lead back for themselves. Back-to-back up by just about 20 points. Nokia, hope he's not going to lose this battle, as Mono will fall.
Yeah, I'm just quite surprised Nokia didn't actually finish anyone off, but it doesn't matter anyway. The damage was done, but I'm surprised the awareness of Lazarus, but I didn't actually expect him to come around that side. No one was even looking around, which is quite a bit weird, but never mind, it wasn't the case. Killing Machine gets a snipe of his own. He's going to try and take out Mana here, which he does just barely. A double elimination from him, and he's going to try and get another one down. Managed to get some damage done, but Excellence gets a double. Killing Machine trying to stay alive as much as he can, trying to keep that point contested, but Lazarus are doing such a good job keeping him at bay, and now they're going to get that point back.
Got closest matches yet again, just like on the first map, 892 to 919. They have control of the point. They're going to take the lead, and the elimination streak comes through to Lazarus, and that might just put them over the top. However, back-to-back, they're still fighting. 965. The point is still consistently building up points for Lazarus. 6 left to go. Who's going to get the eliminations? And it's going to go Lazarus' way. That final limb we just saw right there could have turned the tides back in back-to-back's favor, and now Lethal might be rethinking who's going to win the series, but he's going to have to stick to his guns. I'm going to call him out on it now, but now tying things up at 1 apiece.
Yeah, that was a bit unexpected, really, because even though they had a very strong drone at the start, I didn't expect Lazarus to come back like that, but look at that. Lord Mano, 24 frags contributed, a nice 15 and 8, plus 7 KD from him. And on Mix's side, not too much different, but you saw that Mano was just doing everything. He got so much damage done in comparison to the rest of his team. He was just doing everything he absolutely needed to be required.
I think the score he had was not reminiscent of who the true standout player was on Lazarus. I think it was Romeo. Only 199 points, not leading his team, but the damage he was doing consistent with the sniper, the aggressive positions he was holding and challenging time and time again. You saw it slowed back-to-back down when they wanted to push into the point, like, all right, we'll throw a G-launcher into this room, we'll throw a grenade into this room, but we're not going to challenge it. So it really limited the way back-to-back could attack back onto the point, and it gave them so much extra control. I want to say he, for me, was the MVP, at least of that map.
I don't know, it's a bit of a tough one because you saw at least 3 or 4 members with at least 200 points out. So Gonza, Nokia,
yeah, but
excellent.
He's not getting points off damage. I mean, he wasn't getting the limbs, but he was putting out like consistent damage, and I feel like the points can't reflect map control.
Yeah, I think the phrase we're looking for is the fact.
Disagree with me.
Okay, he's right. He's perfectly right. No, but what I was going to agree on was the fact that I think it was more cost-effective, the frags and the damage he was doing. It was more effective compared to some of the silly ones you normally get, like just picking someone off, or even Renoki, you saw he even got a lot of damage done, but didn't get the frags to kind of help him out a little bit more. He got the job done. He did the work that was necessary in comparison.
Well, we're going to be going over to Old Factory next, just waiting for our last team to ready up, which will be Lazarus, as they will be taking a second to collect their thoughts after that victory, a very, very close victory on Paradise Island. But back to TDM. I feel like they should win TDM.
You feel like, what, Lazarus should?
I feel like they should. I feel like they're the stronger team when it comes to TDM. But this is going to be the last one. We go over to Control after this on Europe Square because we're guaranteed now a minimum of 4 maps. And then Wild West Saloon if we go to a 5th and final one, which is going to be... I couldn't call that because of how hectic it is. Yeah,
Lazarus used to be quite good on Saloon like last season. This season, I'm not really too sure like how things will pan out. With TDM, especially with this one, again, it's another coin flip. I can't really accurately say how things will pan out. It all depends. It's very situational. And it's not like with most TDMs anyway, especially with like Europe Streets, etc. But Old Factory, you can get a little bit of a grasp of exactly how things will pan out. The start strategies from both these teams will really narrow out exactly how things will pan out for the rest of the series. But you've got the little things like the top mid control, how things will go maybe close to the time limit. There's a lot of things here we've got to try and work upon. But yeah, I think Lazarus right now, the momentum is definitely in their favour as we head into map number 3.
Let's see, they have momentum on their side. They have tied things up in the series. Can they continue here as Romeo is going to get a lot of bullets coming his way? He hasn't really taken too much damage, to be honest. And he will actually help get the assist onto the first elimination, which is going to be John Wick getting the kill.
Yeah, some great trades there. Lazarus ending up being the better team in that kind of scenario now. And we're going to have to see what they can do from here. As Killing Machine is somehow still alive when you had 3 people fighting him. Finally gets taken down by Mano, but Gonza managed to get the snipe. John Wick with that Porcupine. Love the Porcupine compared to the other launchers is quite interesting to actually witness myself. Mix with a nice double to finish things as Excellence is going to try and get another frag, which Mano cleans up.
95 to 79 in favor of Lazarus. See Migs just tucked away behind the box. Gets the Blade Master onto Romeo, but a couple of Blade Masters coming in. Nokia gets one onto Excellence, but John Wick takes down Nokia. So Lazarus going to maintain the equal trades. Even getting some trades in their favor, but Lord Mano, yeah, you're caught out there. You're not escaping that one. He'll fall.
Yeah, it wasn't too much you could have done there. And you saw the Killing Machine was trying to hide on their side of the spawn, but wasn't the case. But it does take down Excellence before Excellence gets a nice double of his own, but Gonza gets a nice double as well. He's going to look for that triple, but it'll be a little bit too late, but it doesn't matter anyway. Mano will just barely finish him off before Gonza gets to trade with that G-launcher.
3 minutes and 30 seconds left to go. A slight lead in Lazarus' favor. Currently Migs and Gonza stepping up 4 back-to-back at 77 and 82 points respectively. Romeo being a little bit quiet though after I kind of built him up on Paradise Island. 16 points so far. Is having a rough start into this, but Migs goes on a streak, takes back-to-back up by now about 62 points. Still a lot of low HP targets on the side of back-to-back, especially with that shot hitting onto Killing Machine.
Yeah, Mix did a great job. Got a triple into a streak straight afterwards. Close to getting that 4 at once, but it just wasn't to be. But the main thing is they got all 4 members Lazarus down. As back-to-back soon to be increased in their lead, slowly but surely by 50 points. But Mano and Excellence are going to stop that. Getting some crucial trades. Mix traded him back off. But as you saw, Romeo drop down just a little bit too late. John Wick gets 1 and Nokia gets a double cleanup for himself.
You can see John trying to flank around Gonza. I think he's been doing pretty well with the sniper so far. To be able to really match up against Romeo, who again sitting at 57 points, lowest first team. G-Launcher comes in, doesn't really connect with too much damage. Gonza and Migs able to just walk over Lazarus there, but they're going to be low HP. Gonza, oh my god, I didn't expect him to get that one onto Excellence, but luckily Migs was the recipient of the shot out of him. The lead's still about 50 points for back-to-back. They're still maintaining this, which is the important part, but considering they only need 70 points left to close out this map.
Yeah, he almost got taken down by that afterburn, but just barely managed to be able to survive as Romeo managed to get a double for himself. But Migs trying to do what he can. Onochi will just barely stay alive here. As things will stalemate just a little bit more, but I feel like Lazarus have a little bit more of that map control. But as I say that, managed to get taken down, so it's 2 for 2 for both teams. But back-to-back are going to be happy about it. They will trade this left, right, and centre all they like. And look like this now, they're pushing straight in, and because of that last frag, back-to-back managed to take map number 3, and it's now 2-1 in their favour in the series.
And that means we're going to Europe Square. Some control here. So they've taken both TDMs. Maybe I should just rethink the way I think about the team, saying that they're weak on TDM. Maybe it's Lazarus having some rough times, but they've been able to do it yet again. And now we're going to a 4th map where they could close out a 3rd place finish, which I think they want. They definitely want to maintain that 1st place at the moment. Lazarus, they kind of need this to still, not necessarily be in the running, but to stop potentially Knights from running away from taking 2nd place from them.
I think this is more important for Lazarus now. In terms of points, even though it's only 10 difference in comparison, they want to try and at least get joint 2nd. That's if Knights of Honor actually lose the grand final. We'll have to see how that goes later on, and that will be in our next series. But as you see from the stats, not really too much standing out here, unless I'm mistaken, going through it at the moment. A lot of it's quite even. We can see Excellence going neutral 7 for 7 with 5 assists. We've got Nokia again. Again, Nokia, he's been doing a lot of damage done. He's been getting so many assists. Even with the last one, I think he had like 12 or 14 assists. I can't remember which from the deaths in comparison. But he's been putting the damage dealt massively for his team.
Well, yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised to see it was pretty equal. Like, there was no one, like you mentioned, like really standing out for either side, but everyone playing really consistent, really well. But I mean, again, like Old Factory, it's a map that's been played for seasons. You know, it's a map that every team knows really well. So they're able to, you know, be able to play and fire on all cylinders. But going to Europe Square, this is where it gets messy, I feel like. This is where, like, if a team gets control against you, they can just run away with the lead. They can completely walk all over you, and it's up to whoever's in-game leading or whoever, I guess, as a collective, depending on how you obviously work with your team to figure out, like, what do we need to do here? What do we need to do to stop them from walking over us? And I feel like a lot of it comes into, like, the deciding of how to allocate your resources, right?
Yeah.
Of, like, how many players do we expect them to have defending A, and how many should we send there to overtake them? Or where do we think they're going to hit next? So can we send players there to reinforce that if we have 2 points, something like that? It's really a methodical game mode, and it looks like we're about to kick this one off.
Yeah, we're going to find out very shortly as we're going to begin with map number 4, Europe Square. One of the larger maps in the pool now. Very hard to trip, Cal. We'll have to see how these start strategies go and see who actually managed to take that early lead. So we're going to see here right now. They try and go for that B point straight away. You've got 2 members of Lazarus going straight forward. Trades are coming in left, right, and centre, but 4 down already for Lazarus. That is not a start you want to begin with.
Not at all here. Only Romeo and Lord Mono able to get points on the board. However, Nokia is up to 49. And look at that lead they already have. Yes, it's about 100 points. And again, this isn't TDM anymore, so 100 points doesn't mean as much as it does currently here on Control. But if they continue this pace, at 100 points is quickly going to turn into 200, potentially 3. And they're on the cusp, actually, of taking a 200-point advantage. B is being contested. They have full control of C. A is now going to be capped for Lazarus. But we can see the investment out of back-to-back to take this middle site.
I think the damage has already been
4
done.
again.
Literally, as soon as they got 4 down, they trip cap straight away. And now, like you said before, they 4 down again. They're all dying in the same cycle, which is awful because you've got no one there to get not just damage done, but cause a distraction to try and contest any of the points. So back-to-back are literally laughing right now, considering they've got 2 4 down straight away. And they're still contesting both of these points, but Lazarus are doing their absolute best to try and get in the middle. But again, the fragging potential of back-to-back is so strong. But as I say that, 3 down for Lazarus again.
I mean, eventually they had to fall. They don't have all the healing in the world to be able to sustain this, but they've been able to predict where Lazarus are going, and we're able to out-aim them as well. You can see Migs rotate back towards they expecting the push to come in there, which it will be, but it went on the trade. He'll be able to maintain the A position for them, which is fantastic, because now they can focus back on B, or potentially pull off a flank towards C.
Mano's getting absolutely mad here. So I said 3 down for Lazarus, I meant 3 down for back-to-back. As Mano must get that triple limb and a streak. I think he's still on the streak at the moment, not 100%. I've not been keeping on the death cycle here. I know, and there's not so much they can do, but we've seen Europe Square before. There's a lot of times where it will be very back and forth. No matter the score gap here, we saw they run with a nice double. Another double for Migs there. And it's just neck and neck. It's an absolute mess and slaughterhouse, especially for a map like this.
With the way it's going, like back-to-back are going to be done at about 400 points. And Lazarus, well, they only have about 400 points. Let's see if they can continue. 900 and counting for back-to-back in a few seconds. You can see Guns at 167, Noke at 136. The highest on the side of Lazarus is 173 at Lord Vada, but John Wick on 24 points, having a very, very rough start.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they can do here. I think it's going to be close short of a miracle here, as I need 200 more points coming into this, with the trades coming in back and forth. 3 down again for Lazarus. John Wick managed to help a little bit, but managed to get a double of his own, but Migs gets traded off, so they can now get that B point if they want to, but we've got to be careful, as C will be taken by themselves.
That's the advantage.
It's not looking good here.
Like with having this many points in the lead and being this close to finishing, you can just throw people randomly at points and just constantly continue to back cap until you get the victory, which they're going to do here in about 30 points time. And it looks like back-to-back, well, they won't take back-to-back first place finishes, but they will at least skate by with a 3rd place, which means Lazarus has guaranteed at a minimum fallen into 3rd place by 10 points.
Yeah, they're not going to be too happy about that. I don't think it's about the point situation, it's how they got defeated. That was a huge margin for Europe Square. The fact that they got 4 down, trip cap straight away, I feel like the objective efficiency from back-to-back was definitely something to actually look upon and remember, especially watching back on the VODs as well. But they just seemed to be a lot quicker at getting things done. It was just very situational, but they always came out on top.
If Knights win this final match, they'll be in 2nd place by 35 points. Like, and 35, that's a lot.
Yeah, people don't realize until it gets to the later weeks as well, do they?
Especially if you're like really consistently placing, which, I mean, Knights hasn't been as consistent, getting a 2nd place finish last week. In the 1st place, weren't even in the top 4. But consistency is going to be king when it comes to this, and having that breakthrough, cup can always get you into that 2nd place and lock it down. You can see, I mean, we can't even talk about the scoring because it was just so one-sided. That was a very persuasive map.
Yeah.
A persuasive match for back-to-back.
Is it normally Divine King on Lazarus instead of John Wick? Am I mistaken?
That could be him.
Maybe it could be. Yeah, maybe it could be. I don't know. I just thought that was a bit strange, but nonetheless, I could be wrong. I could be right. I could be just making up. I have no idea. I suppose we'll find out another
Your mind's already in Cologne thinking about the schnitzel, I think, right now.
I think it is, to be fair.
The choreoversed. And the brackets. Let's take a look one more time before we head to our final match of the day. It's going to be Edge Infinity up against Knights of Honor in our last match of today, completely, because we're not covering North America. But again, if you missed out on the Southeast Asia games, you can check out Sans's VODs. I believe you can watch some of the NA stuff as well. You'll be at least keeping up to date over at play.eslgaming.com and check out the brackets. But we'll be going to that break. When we come back, we're kicking off our last match of the day. It's a best of 5. And of course, it's going to be the finals. And it's grand final time now here. Jason Kaplan joined by the handsome Snack to my left. You're right on the screen. It is lethal. I really should stop commenting and giving you compliments because it's going to go to your ego and go to your head. But you know what cannot go to your head right now? A final finish, because we still have the last game to go, and we still have quite an important match here for Knights of Honor, at least in particular, because they've already taken second place. Now it's a question of how lengthy of a lead they can pull off here, and for Edge Infinity as well, break through into that top 4.
Yeah, it's very important for both of these teams. Of course, they're going to be very happy with the final placements they've made so far, guaranteed top 2, but it's the goal they're looking for, the extra 25 points they want from the actual top place. And it's going to be a very interesting one because both teams have both caused upsets. So obviously playing their A game today, and depending on the map choices and how things will go in the series, it's going to be a pretty good one, I think.
Yeah, so to reiterate, we have Military Warehouse, Paradise Island, Old Factory, Europe Square, Wild West Saloon, 2 TDMs, 1 King of the Hill, 1 Control, and 1 winner from the series. Whenever I cast with you, I could just think of these random things that just always sound really nice when it comes to casting.
It must just be a aura, or it is. Yeah, obviously
it's an aura. Yeah,
yeah. Obviously, like you think of some puns and it just like telepathically goes to your head.
Yeah, I think you just build me up and
Yeah.
you give me confidence about myself, and you know what?
I get you pumped in each break.
A team needs to recruit you to get their confidence up as well. But yeah, so to reiterate with the standings, like at the moment, back-to-backs in first place. This is before this cup did take place. Lazarus in second, Knights in third, Dust 2 in fourth, Edge in fifth, Sidekicks in sixth. The team who came into the winter series just absolutely destroying every team. They unfortunately are not faring too well. I know Deathface was on the team back then and hasn't been on the roster anymore. Elements Pro Gaming, Enemy as well. The top 8 has switched up quite a bit from previous weeks, but we still have those like solid top teams. Though Noble, I'll give them credit. They are performing better than I expected, and I think they realize it's important to keep qualifying for these Pro Series events. There's still a lot of money to win. There's still also travel, like getting to see the world. Who would have thought, playing a game, you could just travel and be paid to go to an event and have a mini vacation, which you had a little vacation after Pro Series Brazil, didn't you?
I did,
Stayed
yes.
for extra couple days, got to lounge around, make me jealous.
Yeah. Yeah, I went to Rio for a few days, Samara, because after doing event after event after event, it does get a bit tiring on us. And I've got some much needed relaxation. But like you said before, going back to the events and stuff, like with the Pro Series Texas and the Brazil.
Really good time in Texas.
Yeah, I think that was pretty good. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
I have a video on my phone that got sent to me actually from Texas.
Oh no.
That you were bull riding.
Yes, yeah. Actually, that's
I can't really call it bull riding. It's more like bull flipping.
That's actually on my Instagram. But no, there was a reason why I fell off so quickly, because you can tip the conductor who's doing it. Someone tipped him quite heavily, and the guy who he tipped lasted for 60 seconds. I lasted for 10, and literally it just went in a full 180. You can't.
The video's not even 10 seconds. So I don't think you lasted 10.
Someone paid the guy to literally throw me off. Watch it back on my Instagram. Go on my Instagram. Go to my stories.
What's your Instagram?
You'll see it. Lethal_HT. It will be there. And trust me, you tell me what you think and tell me if you think that wasn't rigged or not. That was rigged. 100%. And Jackie as well.
Yeah. I've seen Jackie's arms. I don't expect much out of him. But these guns here... You might break your jacket if you flex, so please don't. It looks like we are waiting for no one else, actually. Everyone has right up. We should be hopping into this series. Again, sorry for the little bit of delay there. We're just waiting for the teams to ready. And we are going on to Military Warehouse to kick off our last game of the day, our last game here of the week in Europe. And let's see who's to take home the title.
Yeah, it's going to be a great series here between these two teams, both causing upsets in their semi-finals, and now they'll be matching against each other in a probably slow-paced map number 1 to start with. We'll see how things pan out here as Notorious and Stanson both take a little bit of damage, but finally the ball gets rolling. Dobar with the first frag, Stanson with the trade, and Stanson with a nice double to start with. Maybe a triple? No, it won't be the case. Notorious makes the right decision and sits back a little bit.
Well, you see T-Mac has just come out the gate swinging. 32 points for him. He has almost half of what his team has in its entirety, though he will eventually meet his maker, Deadly. Back in towards spawn, looking for shots. Tajani doesn't really care. He's like, your spawn is my spawn, but eventually he'll be overrun. He'll be overwhelmed. Knights will come out still with a 25-point lead.
Things will be a little bit slow here. Dobar's very slowly going around for the flank. It's going to be an interesting thing here, but it's not really going to be the case. As Hale gets one, T-Max gets a trade. Dobar gets one for himself, but it's just trading back and forth. Tajani with a nice double to kind of separate things finally. but Knights of Honor with that nice lead and a nice little snipe there from Hale.
Gets followed, gets some free damage in there pretty much. Gets a second elimination on Tajani this time. Oh, he was already low HP before. Spots on T-Mac again, and Hale is on a spree. Eventually, he'll burn to a crisp, but not before getting 3 eliminations and getting Edge Infinity the lead.
It's going to be a little bit slow again before Deadly finally gets taken down. Stas with the G-Launcher doesn't get too much damage done, but gets a little bit enough to hopefully keep him at bay in that bottom middle spot. Tajani and Dobar managed to keep him at bay. In Massive now. Nice trade. Hale waits for that first shot. He's waiting for another one. Notorious is coming straight in for him, and Notorious just barely managed to take him out before Massive gets traded out.
Now the 2 here for the side of Edge Infinity as they are in the lead by 22 points, though. Tajani has something to say about it. And Dobar as well. A nice little double and a Massive and Deadly. Knights of Honor have been able to take the lead now back in their favor. We're closed into that coveted 500-point limit.
Back-to-back G-launches there. Sadly, Hale couldn't stay alive from the afterburn of the Incinerator, and T-Mac managed to get a trade. He's going to try and go for the second one, but sadly, Massive's been a little bit cheeky and managed to snipe him out there. Tajani gets a trade, but now they've just got to play the waiting game. If they want to flank and wait for that respawn immunity or go straight in, but they're going straight in. Quite shocking. Normally, you wait and let them come to you, but it wasn't the case. But still, Knights of Honor came off on top. 3 down now, and only 1 member left standing, and that's your man, Massive.
Did they just eliminate 3 in their own spawn? Yeah, look at this. Look how far aggressive they're holding. Massive, though, could come out as a big factor. G-Launcher comes in. That's a quick double for him, looking for a third. However, the third player was already eliminated, but still they have a nice 78-point lead.
It's a great lead. Couldn't ask for more here, and it's increasing it slowly but surely here, as it probably won't go on for too much longer, as Knights of Honor slowly picking them off left, right, and center. But even though they're quite weak, they've got to be careful now, because they don't want to let Infinity have an opportunity to try and catch up and have that kind of sniper standoff. But Knights of Honor not letting anything go, suffocating them on their spawn, trying to do whatever they can. But Infinity slowly coming back, but is it a little bit too late?
It might be. The thing is, it's so tough to fight back from a deficit because the amount of HP you have to work with, the amount of healing you're limited to. You see Deadly about half HP, Hale missing armor, Massive missing armor. Yeah, they're about 60 points behind, but Knights, like, if they just get one more sweep, one more clean sweep of the team, it's over. And yeah, T-Mac gets 2, but I think it's too late. There we go. Knights of Honor will take the first map here in the series.
Another statement for Knights of Honor. Like I said before, it's been a while since we've seen them. They've come back. The past few weeks they've been dominating, and that was a very clean-cut map. Like, it's a bit weird how they should have at least stayed back at that one part and then instead just pushed in anyway.
That's because maybe the other team expected them to do that. Expect the unexpected. Lethal. And I never asked you, who do you have pitted to win? Who do you think's going to win? Or are you going to cop out and just say Knights because they won the
It's a bit of a tough one. You would expect, in all honesty, you would expect Infinity to win just due to the fact that their dominating performance against back-to-back was ridiculous, and then back-to-back managed to winning the third-place playoff. So it makes you think, well, okay, they seem like the team which seems to be a lot more, not just aggressive, but skill-wise seems to be having a good day. But Knights of Honor, I'll be honest, I probably would have said Infinity.
Okay, at least you're true. At least you're not lying to me saying, yeah, I would have thought Knights the entire time.
I never lied to you, mate.
But I did think Knights was going to win.
Yeah, of course.
Especially after I saw them take that first map. I really reaffirmed my initial thoughts that I did not say on air about them winning.
His predictions. But to be fair, he's actually probably going to be right. Actually, I'm hoping that you're wrong and then Infinity make a reverse sweep.
I think they're hoping it as well. I think a lot of people out there who are watching are hoping that as well. Though I can think of 5 people who were not hoping for that. Knights and myself. Just to stick true to what our predictions is. But either way, going now to Paradise Islands and King of the Hill. Switching things up now. And we are just waiting for the teams to ready up. Just waiting on one last player. We hop into this. But they look good. They look good on TDM. I'll give them that. Again, that like very uncharacteristic and unorthodox, like aggressive play into their own spot. It got them 3 eliminations, which is the thing that blows my mind the most. Because you have full HP on the respawn. You have some immunity as well.
Yeah.
And then just to get walked over. It's unfortunate. And I think that was a statement. That was a statement to the team of Edge Infinity.
It definitely was now. And then map number 2, we're going to start things off here. And Infinity, we didn't see as much aggression from them compared to what we saw from that last series. I hope they haven't gone back to their passive ways, because that could infect them entirely. And already now a double elimination, as you saw there from T-Mac. A triple eliminations, trying to look for that 4th but it's not going to be the case. I think one of the members managed to stay back just in case because you don't want any more points on the board. And Knights of Honor already onto a fantastic start.
Yeah, 137 to 86, and they have control of the point, and they have T-Mac on elimination streak. They're eventually going to have to move away from his stalwart position in towards spawn. Nice little eliminations coming out. Notorious goes on a triple. Look at the lead. They now have 120 points off these like back-to-back triples and have individual performance so far. Knights of Honor have been really impressing us.
Yeah, if it was individual kills from different members of the team, they wouldn't get as much points, but that triple limb back-to-back now, it's been absolutely ridiculous stuff. And then now another double from T-Mac. I feel like Knights of Honor have they've turned into a completely different team compared to previous seasons. And now this is the kind of Knights of Honor we used to see. Back in the heyday, back in the old days, we saw the first ever season of Guns of Boom. They were one of the strongest online teams ever from what we saw, and now it seems like they've gone back to their old ways. A nice double limb we saw from Infinity to try and make something happen, but look at this lead right off the get-go.
I think Knights don't want to let Big Daddy Cap down here. Notorious pushing through, exchanges 1-for-1. Still have T-Mac off to the side, provide some sort of cover, though Stasis hiding behind the luggage. Eventually Dobar will finish him off, and they will have the point back. 200-point lead for Knights of Honor, and it might continue to grow from here. However, Deadly, that's something to say about it. The points still be going the way of the red side of Knights of Honor. Stacy trying to push in, catching T-Mac, not looking, but it doesn't matter. Dejani's going to be there. The focus fire is good. Hale tries to flank it from behind, and you know what? Nothing's working for them.
Again, 4 down for Infinity. They have absolutely no answer to this. They're trying to figure out any way, shape or form to try and do something. The amount of aggression, the passiveness, the angles, the crossfire, even seeing back trying to snipe them out, there's nothing they can do here. They haven't got any answers, but this could be their grand opportunity here as Deadly gets a nice quick double there, but Dejani, again, being a massive nuisance sitting back in that hut. It gets a double for himself, and he's going to try and look for that triple if he can, shape or form, but Dobar managed to get him before he gets traded off.
300 points left to go for Knights of Honor. Maintaining control, or trying to, as Massive comes back in. 3 players to be in vicinity. However, Dejani has something to say, and T-Mac as well. And Knights of Honor are looking to take a second map and go up 2-0 in the series, 1 away from close out the entirety of this grand final of week 3. 770 points and counting. Notorious is all over this point like white on rice, and T-Mac there to support, and Knights will maintain.
Trying to do everything they can, but I think it's a little bit too late here as their awareness is dropping a little bit. They're getting flanked very easily, and I think they're taking the mick a little bit now. Literally just jumping up here and there, trying to get as much damage done as possible. But what can Infinity do here? They've only got 125 points left until Knights of Honor take this, and when you've got T-Mac just sitting back with a snipe, he's been sniping everyone left, right, and centre, like I said before. But even though they're contesting the point, they could even finish this just figuring on frag points.
They have to like send someone to deal with him, and like you're saying, yeah, frag points alone would win this for Knights of Honor, but they, well, you know what? I think they might do it that way. Notorious gets a quick little 3 kills, and that should be it here, especially as they're turning the point in their favor. Knights of Honor will now be up 2-0 here in the finals, and are looking phenomenal. Where have they been the past seasons?
Yeah, I gobsmacked right now. Even at the end, they had at the start they had 2 triples, but even in it, right at the very end, they had a triple and a double. So they literally cleaned someone straight off spawn. They were so aggressive. This is, you know, a team which we saw back at the very, very first Invitational, even before that Invitational even started during the online qualifiers for it. And they're kind of showing the old blood they used to have now, and what an impact they have made. And I'd be a little bit worried for some of these teams going into the Gods of Boom event.
Yeah, I think they definitely have to keep an eye out for Knights of Honor, and why wouldn't you? With they've been able to pull off performances like this, I mean, like 3 European teams coming in, I think Impact is going to be a real test for them if Knights potentially meet them. I don't know who's playing who necessarily, but I would not want to be the team that plays Impact first. But if it's Knights, and if Knights can do it, if they can pull off an upset.
No, so I was going to say, it probably could be Knights, just due to the fact that, because they qualified last, yeah, they are the fourth.
No. So it's technically, then it should be, if we're thinking that case, it should be Knights up against Ex-Noble.
That's right.
It's back-to-back, and it should be Impact up against Lazarus.
I was thinking because
of the order they qualified.
Yeah, no, you're right. Because I was thinking more the fact that Impact, they've won 2 events in a row, so they should be first seed. But I suppose, yeah, you're right. If back-to-back won the first event, they have the right to have the first seed, which is completely understandable.
Yeah. Well, we don't know how it's going to work. Maybe they're going to change things up. Maybe they'll do it off like a point system of like the weight to those events. Because technically, even though Noble won the Gods of Boom event, the first one, the weight to that event shouldn't be as high as, like, for instance, Impact winning Pro Series Texas, because there was way more teams there.
Yeah. No, that's true.
And they had to fight through more teams.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see. Obviously, it's still a couple of time, or a little bit of time before that happens. It's within, like, the first week of July. And right now we're into this match, and this match only, because Knights of Honor just need this one to close it out. We're over on Old Factory.
Dobar so aggressive. He went got a double straight away, but luckily for them, Hale has got a double of his own. But look at this already. Infinity have almost doubled the lead, but Knights of Honor coming back straight and strong, but Dobar with another double. This man is so aggressive. He has absolutely no fear and relies on his aim skills so much, and it's really helping him out for him. But saying that as well, the rest of his team aren't doing so well here.
Early times, though, for Knights of Honor. I think maybe Edge of Infinity have started to wake up. Stason, oh, I guess the nade off, but Dobar has shut him down as he falls from the rafters, falls from heaven down to hell. Dejan, you can see, with nice 3 for himself, has actually given the lead back to Knights of Honor. Keep in mind, only a minute of gameplay actually taking place.
Yeah, great triple elimination from him, but he didn't take any damage at the time, but he's going to get flanked from behind now as he's trying to keep him back. Great timing from him, a double elimination from Massive, as 3 down now for Knights of Honor, but T-Mac managed to take 2, managed to take 3 down. Triple elimination from him, almost 4. But sadly, that wasn't the case, and it's still going to be neck and neck here.
But still, they get like a 3-on-1 fight against Hale, so almost no one takes damage for that elimination. Now they have potential to pull off the man advantage fight. However, Deadly, well, he doesn't get his opportunity. It's massive. Unfortunately, takes down Dejan. He doesn't get to, you know, Batman in on the fight. Notorious will fall, get a little bit overextended, though he does get the G-Launcher out in time, I guess. Takes down Hale, and they're still going to hold the lead, albeit 4 points.
Yeah, already 3 down now for Knights of Honor, 4 down, sorry, for Infinity. And now they've got to decide how they're going to do things. But of course, no, they don't even going to have time to think, as Dobar pushes straight in, gets that Blade Master there. But look at this now, they've got all the angles covered, even though they haven't got the height advantage.
Oh, Deadly.
To keep them back, but 2 for 2 now.
That was a little bit yikes out of Deadly there, missing a couple of shots. G-Launcher comes in at Jajani, again does some good damage, able to trade 1 for 1, so it still works out for him because he gets to respawn back in with full HP and the points don't move farther against them. Yeah, Dobar waiting on the side, has Notorious there for support. Notorious looking to hit the shot. Dobar does, actually no, Dejani gets it from up high. That's only 4 points. It's insane how close this match is.
Yeah, it's literally back and forth here. 2 down now for Infinity from those great snipes from Dobar and another member of Knights of Honor there. But as I say, that Notorious gets taken down straight away. Seems like Infinity are back to their passive ways, which is understandable due to the fact that Knights of Honor do have map control, but none of them have that top mid spot. They're all on the low ground here. And as we see now, Massive has to take down 1. He's going to try and push for that second, which he almost does. It's the Bowdy ARs here, and he just managed to take him down. And that afterburn will not be taking him out, but the scores are still pretty close, Jace.
Yeah, Edge of Infinity able to just slightly take the lead by 12 points. But how quickly that can turn Dejani out to the side, not being spotted, get some free shots off of the Deadly. Tries to run away, though, as the afterburn is going to take down his opponent. And now T-Mac comes through. The lead's not growing for Knights of Honor. Can they continue this pace? Math's trying to hide around the side behind the box. He's eventually going to take down Dejani as well as Hale takes down Dobar, but the lead's still actually going back in favor of Infinity. The knife comes through, and now 20 points left to go. Edge of Infinity, can they take us to a 4th map?
It looks like they may do here, but that double elimination was absolutely huge to keep them on par. But there's only 2 frags into it until Infinity take it. But nice frag from him. Knights of Honor, it's going to be very close for them now. They need to try and figure out a way, but T-Mac...
Stop, where are you peeking?
Back. He needs to sit back. He needs to pull back now. At least Dobar's in front of him now to help him trade off, but he's got to be careful. Kids gets taken down, but Dobar now is going to get taken down,
That's
possibly,
it.
but that burn may take him out, and it does, as Infinity brings it back by another map, but looks like it's not all but over yet.
Yeah, that was... I'm really still confused why he was peeking when like they only had 1 more death and they would have lost. I don't know, and then his teammate goes in, there's like 3 players like randomly around the corner all of a sudden, and that's unfortunate. But it was a very, very close game considering the other 2 matches we had prior, especially when it came to TDM on Military Warehouse. But that brings us now to Europe Square, back to control. Dejani and Dobar, I mean, they really pushed aggression to a whole new definition. Yeah,
I feel like that was more in terms of Infinity's map. You know, they were allowed to be passive due to the fact that they always kept having height advantage every time they lost map control. And I felt like Knights of Honor just gave it to them. And I don't think they realised until the end where they just didn't get top mid enough to kind of pressure them onto their spawn. Because we know what Infinity are like, you know, they're not the most aggressive team. But if they're going to sit back and trying to get crossfires going or try and get the height advantage, that's where Knights of Honor will kind of deflate a little bit just due to the fact that if they didn't get top mid, they're still waiting around corners or sometimes a little bit over aggressive. impressive. But that very end situation, I completely agree as well. You could see that he was trying to like maybe get the first shot, but it makes no difference because you get one shot with the incinerator, and then the damage tickers are eventually going to frag him out. But someone did jump in front of him in the end, but it was just a little bit too late there. I think that was Dobar who managed to jump in front.
Unfortunate for them, but they are not done. I think it just had a mini stroke. They're not done just yet, though, as they still have obviously a fourth map, but potentially a fifth if we do get there. We're getting teams to ready up as we head into Europe Square, and then maybe, I'm a little bit sad, actually, to not have any Wild West Saloon so far this week.
Well, it could be
my favorite maps.
Could be on map number... Is it map number 5?
It is the 5th map.
So
but we have to get there first. We have to see Edge Infinity take us there. And they might be able to as we're loading in. We're going to be hopping straight into this one. We're going to Control now. Europe Square. Let's see if Edge Infinity can take us to a 5th and final map and make Jason happy to see Wild West Saloon. And
let's see if we can make him happy. We'll see what happens. It all depends on Infinity here if they can bring that next map back. But if we saw their Notorious with a nice double of his own, we'll try and get that point across. That's 3 down. Could be 4 down here, and it will be. But Deadly has come back on the spawn to rush straight in along with Hale.
Well, the points. C's held for the red side of Knights of Honor. B being fought. A nice little double comes for Deadly as he looks to yoink the point away. However, T-Mac and going to be there with Dejani to fight. And actually, I think he leaves Dejani back, and T-Mac pushes towards A. So they're looking for the trip cap here. He's going to have a lot of company towards the A position. He does have reinforced out of Notorious, so they will get A in their favor. B might actually go in their favor as well. So we might see a quick little trip.
Yeah, Deadly with a nice double there. Didn't get the triple, sadly. It was oh so close, but Deadly must have rushed in and pick him off at the right moment. But will he actually get the speed control? That's another question. They're trying to contest it, which they don't. But even though they got B, they're now getting A contested. They've been a right pain in the backside. Even though they're getting all the frags they like, Infinity is splitting up and just making it hell for them.
Oh, well, they might turn B at least neutral for now. But they're not going to have the control for Edge Infinity. We see the G-Launchers coming through, doing some really good splash damage as well. Dejani very low on HP. I don't think he should be able to be against Stayson here. Stalling for time, though, to get a couple of extra points trickled through. And you're seeing them resort to a back cap towards C, though.
Knights of Honor with a slight lead here. B has been contested constantly throughout the entire game here. Not really any proper control from what we've seen, but we've seen a lot of things from A and C as well, so not really too much happening here. As there's 3 down for Infinity and 2 down for Knights of Honor. But it looks like they're going to have more of the map control here, as Knights of Honor are going to try and get this B spot. But as you can see now, Hale's going to try and push in and stop him, but it's not going to be the case as Dejani takes him out. 2 down for Infinity, and this could be where Knights of Honor could increase their lead just that little bit more.
They should be able to. You can see Stayson's able to get the elimination of the Dobar with a nice little snipe, but he's trying to round it out towards C. Catches T-Mac and Notorious as well. I think Edge Infinity should actually start to take away the lead. The problem is they don't have control of B, they don't have control of A. Finally going to send 2 players towards B position, actually a 3rd as well. But that means A is going to be left vulnerable. Sorry, C will be left vulnerable if Knights of Honor read into this.
And as you can see there, double a limb from Massive Hale to help things out as well. But Notorious with a very crucial double there just to keep him at bay.
So he feints going towards B to force Edge to send players there. Instead he heads back towards C to get the free cap.
If you get a free cap, I'll take it, nonetheless anyway. But they need to get something now because Knights of Honor are edging closer to this lead and hitting that 1,000 point mark. 200 left. And Infinity need to get something done here.
Nice 2v1 in favor of Knights, however. T-Mac Notorious will fall. Dobar should be overrun here in a second. Okay, well, he should have been, but he does actually get the assist here with Dejani. Eventually, Mass will come through, get a quick double. Potentially the 3rd as well. That's a lot of points that built up. They actually had the lead for a split second there. The split second's not going to be long enough. Back in Knights of Honor favor, now back in Edge Infinity's favor. The points favoring Edge's side as they have a 2-for-1. Dobar should be able to turn A back, though, towards their side with T-Mac there to support, so they should be able to get the 2-for-1 back exchange in their favor. However, look at the points now. 20 left to go for Knights, 2 left to go. Out of nowhere, they come back after they almost lost it. And Knights of Honor will make Jason a happy man. 3-1, and I get to rub this in Lethal's face.
I just felt like it was just a weird one because you saw right at the very end as well, Infinity, I'm not sure which member it was, but as you came from behind and 2 of them are already damaged, if he got that in a double limb, then it would have been a map number 5. It would have just been straight away, but it just wasn't the case. Sadly, it may have just missed at least one of his shots, but Knights of Honor take it 3-1, and great stuff from them throughout the whole week. Yeah, finished 2nd last week, finishing 1st this week. What is going to be in their future weeks cards? You can see Hale had a really good game, 173 points for Edge Infinity. But again, it just comes down to the reading into the matches and how you can really do
or not do, how you can make these calls work for you, given the situations.
Yeah, it was very back and forth. You even saw at one stage that Knights of Honor had such a good lead at one stage. Even towards the very end, I saw some of the members of Infinity running on their own and actually getting taken down. So that's where I kind of expected Knights of Honor just to walk away with it quite comfortably. But it just wasn't the case. Infinity did everything they could to try and make something happen. And they did make that comeback, but that last little flank just wasn't in their favour. And if they managed to get that double elim and maybe even take that point back, it could have been a little bit different, or it might have been a little bit too late for Knights of Honor.
Massive 242 points. I mean, he only had 8 eliminations, but that shows, like, I think he had a triple in there, but the point control to build up the points for his team, the damage he was doing, kind of a shame. Even Deadly, 236. Like, it was still an insanely close match.
It was, no, entirely. Like, even right at the start, even though it went into Knights of Honor's favour, Infinity did such a good job trying to make that comeback, but it just wasn't to be here. And even just overall from what we've seen this evening, Lazarus and back-to-back in the third place playoff, that was a very strange one. But it's nice to see two teams come out of the woodwork and at least, try and make that impact, which they have done. They both make it to the grand finals.
Well, let's take a look at the brackets one more time before we head into the standings and close out the show, just so you can get a quick recap of what did go down today. Back-to-back being dropped into the third place match by Edge Infinity and Knights of Honor with a relatively clean 2-0 up against Lazarus.
Well, it won't be the Kings, but maybe the Queen of the third place playoff. I'm not too sure how that's going to pan out. But yeah, in terms of the bracket, it's been a great day. It's just the fact that Lazarus and back-to-back sadly got upset, but now Lazarus sadly have also dropped down into third place, where Knights of Honor have now been doing a pretty good job for the last few weeks.
Spoiler.
What? Spoiler? Oh,
Talking about Lazarus dropping in third?
Oh,
No,
you mentioned it earlier, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I just thought you wouldn't remember. Let's take a look at the standings up before we end up the show. You can see where every team does currently lay at the moment. Back-to-back in the lead by 50 points between them and Knights of Honor, and Lazarus currently in third by 35.
Yeah, Lazarus are going to be a little bit worried now because not only are they 35 points behind, but Infinity are closing up that gap as well.
Exactly, and they weren't top 4 before today, and they broke through. Dust 2, unfortunately, fell down very far in the points, and I'm not saying they don't have a chance to qualify for Cologne, for Gamescom, but it's going to be a very, very rough road.
It will be. And if back-to-back maybe win at least one, then that should almost guarantee them a top 2 spot. But we'll wait and see for that.
Yeah, I'm not going to call it just yet. But that's going to do it for us here on the show today. No North America coverage this week. Are you back next week?
I am. It's my birthday week.
There you go. So make sure we tune in the stream next week. You give him a big shout-out. Falcone will be here as well. But any last thoughts before we head off?
No, great stuff. Upsets all round. Interesting grand final. Yeah, can't
Let's end the show with a nice high five. No, other hand.
I was looking at your elbow. There we go.
That was a really lame high five.
At least we didn't miss it.
But you know what? I'll tell you, next week won't be as lame as that high five, and you better not high five Falcone as well as we just did. But ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time.